President. I support calls for the end of the death penalty in China, more especially when the death penalty is used to terrorise minority ethnic groups and nations within the Chinese state. The European Union, the United States and other world powers, however, in their criticism of human rights violations in China, are very soft, and in the case of violation of workers' rights, those criticisms are virtually non-existent. And this is because they wish to build business links with Chinese business and the bureaucracy that controls the state, so that they may profit from the appalling exploitation of workers in China. China is a gigantic sweatshop of exploitation of workers. For example, tens of millions of migrant workers lead lives of shameful misery, with their children suffering the consequences of the horrific conditions under which they live. Now, the EU-based and the US-based multinationals participate in this exploitation to facilitate their super profits. The Chinese regime is increasing its repression, and that repression has increased since the Chinese Stalinists decided to go for the capitalist market as a means of developing the economy. There is massive repression of journalists and campaigners for justice for communities and for workers. Recently, a socialist colleague of my own was banned from China. Lawrence Coates, a socialist who writes under the name of Vincent Kola, who is the editor of ChinaWorker.info, was detained at the border and banned from China. ChinaWorker.info campaigns for workers' rights and free trade unions. So we should stand with workers in China. Independent and democratically run trade unions and the right to strike should be campaigned for. The release of all political prisoners and detained labour activists. We should call for freedom of expression and assembly and international solidarity with workers in China to fight this horrific bureaucratic regime, many of whose members aspire to be oligarchs, obviously, as they did previously with the same system in Russia. Thank you, Chairman.